So I'll show you how I went from this to this. All right, welcome to the channel. I was working on editing this shot with Nani. I'll link her below. It's Nani_Mel on Instagram. And doing a few edits to this, kind of simulating gels. I didn't shoot this with gels, but kind of just, I'll show you the before. This is in Photoshop, and I've got a group here with my edits in it of what I was doing, and I'll just turn it off. So you can see the before shot. I mean, it's fine. It just doesn't, it lacks a little something, right? It needs a little pizzazz, maybe a little more color. So I'm just playing around and just going through this, and I kind of came up with something I liked. So that's where I ended up. So I'll show you how I went from this to this. If you like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe. It definitely encourages me to continue making more when I see more and more subscribers coming in. And give it a like if you like it. All right, let's get into it. So I'm going to turn off these edits. Just pretend this edits group is not here, and I'll just start over. I'm not going to take you through what I already did. I'm just going to start from scratch here. So we're on the background layer, and now I'm not even sure I remember what I did, but we'll see if we can do it. I'm going to do a new blank layer by hitting the plus here. And the first thing I thought of, and I like to do this a lot, and if you guys watch my videos, I like to put a little glow behind her. And I'm going to try it a different way this time, or actually I did do it earlier. And I'm just going to do, before I was doing an ellipse and creating an ellipse with a certain color. So this time around I decided maybe I'll just try a large brush. Dab that on. I'm going to make sure my hardness is set to 0%. We'll do flow about 20%. And I'm going to grab, since she's green, I was thinking about adding some green to the background. So I'm going to hold down I've got my brush selected, right? I'm going to hold down my dropper, hold down my Alt option to get my dropper here, and then click, and that's going to load me up a sample as the primary color of that green, right? And so then what I'm going to do, I'm using my left and right bracket keys next to the P key to resize that brush. I'm just going to start clicking, and that's going to give me some paint back there, right? So now I have sort of a glow, right? Maybe I could have used a lighter color, but we'll see. So we'll stop there. What I need to do, let me go back. So what I need to do is turn that layer off, and I want to create a mask so just the glow shows up behind her. So I want to mask her out. And the way to do that is to go back to your background. I just turned off the glow that I just created temporarily. Go back and click on your background, and then go up here to your quick selection tool, this one right up here, and choose select subject. And that usually, as I always say, does a pretty good job. Although lately I've been having to, maybe it's the background colors I'm using, not having enough contrast. I've been having to really go in and refine these masks afterwards, because it's not really getting everything. All right, so that's pretty good. This is pretty clear cut right here. There's some spots here that it missed. It's not perfect along here, so I'm just clicking, trying to kind of include these spots that it missed. Just trying to get as good a selection as I can, right? Okay, so that's pretty good. And then I'm going to invert that selection. I'm going to right click and choose select inverse, and that is going to just select the background, right? And now I'm going to, I could save this. I could go up to select and save it as a selection, but I think what I like to do, and it's more convenient to me, is just create a curves layer, and that automatically creates the mask for me. I can create some other, any of these adjustment layers in here pretty much. I can create one of those, and it's going to create a mask along with it, right? And what I can do, if I ever want to go back to that selection, I can right click on that mask and choose add mask to selection, and look at that, it just picks up the mask, right? So, but I've got it loaded up into the curves layer. Now I can come in and turn on this glow, and then I can hold down Control Alt or Control Option click on this mask and then drag it up to that layer, and just like that, you don't have to have it selected. The mask does all that for you. I've got the glow behind her, right? And you can't even really tell down here because the glow didn't even occur down there. But what I may do with this curves layer now was I went into the properties of the curves by clicking on this right here, off the mask onto the properties. And in the curves layer, there's a red, green, and blue. And so I picked green, and then I just grab this line, a point on this line, and I raise the green up. You see that? You can raise it way up and turn the whole thing green. But I just wanted to give it like a little bit of green back there. Just subtle, right? And then I went back to the RGB, which is the whole thing, right? And that's actually this white line. It's going or parallel on top of the green line there. If you grab it, you can see it'll start pulling the green down, right? And maybe I'll grab it a little further down here. There we go. Just give it a little more. It's got some green, but now it's got some mood to it, right? And then the glow is a little bit bright, so I'll go back up to the glow layer. Let's name these. Let's have good etiquette, right? Glow. And this will be green BG curves. Okay. Just so we know which is which. I mean, I can tell. But let's go up to the glow, and, you know, we can do a couple things. We could try different blending options here. But I think I like the glow. That's pretty cool right there, actually. Difference. All right, let's just see. Keep that in your mind. And I'm going to come over here, and I'm just going to lower the opacity, right? And that kind of made it a little more subtle. Let's see. Do you like that? Or I'll turn it back, the opacity back up and go down to, what was it, difference? Or do you like that? It's kind of not a whole lot different, but I can't decide. They're pretty close to each other. I'm just going to keep it real basic. I'm going to put it to a normal layer, right? So the blend mode is normal. I'm just going to lower the opacity down just a little bit, just to keep it a little more believable, right? So there's a little glow behind her, but not a lot. It's just real subtle. And then we've got some green on the paper. And then, you know, the last thing I did was just some cleanup on the skin. That was about it. You could, if you want to, like she's got a little roughness on the elbow there, let's take care of that. I'm going to do a new blank layer, and I'm going to use the clone stamp tool and set the flow to 10%, real low flow. And I'm just going to come over here and hold down the Alt or Option key, get a sample, just click to get a sample right here, and that loads that spot right up there in the brush. And then just start lightly painting over the elbow, just like that. And then we've just smoothed out the elbow. Now it kind of blurs it out a little bit. So on this elbow layer, we'll call it elbow, right? Let's reduce the opacity a little bit and bring back a little bit of that texture, just like that. And so we'll turn it off. We've got a rough elbow, and we'll turn it back on, and we've got kind of a smooth elbow. But we brought the opacity down. We can bring it down even a little bit more just to make it a believably smooth elbow, because elbows have texture to them, right? So I'll hit Control-0 to zoom out, and we've got a nice elbow there. And the only thing I would do maybe is come in here and get some of these spots on the face right here. Come up and use the spot healing brush tool. You could use the spot healing. You could use, you know, the patch tool. You could use the clone stamp tool. Let's do the clone stamp just for fun. And again, like maybe 10%. It takes a little bit longer than the spot healing, but it does retain a little texture. Hold your Alt or Option down, get a sample right there, and then just start painting. And you can see that where it's painting the target is where it's painting the clone stamp is where that target is, the crosshair, right? And it just keeps it right beside whatever you're painting in, right? Or cloning in. So go in here. It sort of retains the texture a little bit better, does a little bit better job. All right, that's pretty good. Control-0, zoom back out, and we got those. So we'll turn that off. See, we've got a few spots there, and we turn it on. We'll clean it up just a little bit. You know, the other thing you could do is maybe some dodge and burn. It's the lighting itself is dodging and burning pretty good. I don't know if that's really necessary. I think this is pretty good, actually, the way it is. So here's our second set of edits, and I will hold down the top layer, or select the top layer, and then hold down the Shift key, select that bottom layer, and that selects them all, and then hit Control G, and that puts them in a group. And we'll put edits 2, right? And we'll turn it off. So this is all the edits that I made inside of this folder, right? This group. So then I can just turn all of them off at one time by hitting the eyeball, just like that. So that's before. I mean, it's fine, but it just felt like it was just a little boring, right? If I didn't add color, I'd probably make the background just a little darker, right? Just make it a little moodier, but I just felt like it needed something else, so I did that right there. All right, so that's pretty much it. So I hope you like there's a before and there's the after. I hope you let me know in the comments if you like the before better. Some people were like, why'd you mess it up? I didn't think I did, but everyone's got their own opinion, right? And their own preferences. So if you're still watching, I appreciate it. Give it a like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.